Lynzi, welcome to Digital Transformation Bite Size. This is a series where I interview experts in the technology space to find out that little bit more about what they do, to share that with a lot of other people so that they can learn from people such as yourself. Welcome, by the way.
Hi, Kieran. Nice to see you.
All righty. For those people, Lynzi, who don't know who you are, would you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit more about what you do on a daily basis?
Yes, of course. My name's Lynzi Ashworth. I am the head of digital marketing for the EMEA region, Europe, Middle East and Africa at Aon. So Aon are a global financial services firm. We provide all sorts of broad risk of a broad range of professional services to businesses of all sizes. And my role is really broad. I look after every kind of touch point where we are communicating or supporting our clients digitally. So that's both in kind of the digital marketing space and the social selling space. So and everything that comes under that umbrella. So looking at websites, looking at campaign frameworks, looking at the people and the processes to improve our client experiences and help grow our business.
A lot of people talk about digital marketing, Lynzi, but I wonder if everybody understands what it actually is. How would you define digital marketing?
Well, for me, I think it's very different depending on what the business is. So if you look at I guess professional services is which we do traditionally, or you look at e-commerce brands, how digital marketing plays out is very different. So the tools and the techniques you'll be using would be very different. But I think ultimately it is around using any kind of digital tools to help support your customers and help them move them through the pipeline and help grow your business. So I don't think there is a one size fits all for different businesses, but it is essentially the marketing and the support that you are providing to your clients and to your business to help connect the two.
You mentioned a moment ago a phrase called social selling. That's gaining in importance at the moment. What is social selling?
For us as a business at Aon, it's very important. So essentially, it's about empowering our colleagues with the tools and the education they need to be able to grow their own pipeline. So a lot of social selling for me is about educating people. So educating people on how to use essentially social media, and for us that kind of lies within LinkedIn within the UK and most of Europe. So that's essentially using LinkedIn to help grow their pipeline. So whether that's support on personal branding, support on how to engage and nurture your prospects and clients online, how to share and create thought leadership. So it's essentially empowering our colleagues with the education they need and also giving them tools. So things like LinkedIn Sales Navigator or social listening tools. So it's an education program for us mainly.
We appear to live in a digital age and COVID has pushed us all to work remotely. Is there still room for what might be determined or called traditional marketing?
Oh yeah, I think there's always going to be space within the kind of the marketing toolkit, and there's always going to be a need for what we call traditional, so your offline channels and in-person channels. But what I find really interesting is how they are connecting. So I don't think they should be seen separately as kind of what you're doing online over here and what you're doing offline. It very needs to be very connected and tailored and working together. So I think we're using the term omni-channel more, so that omni-channel experience for your clients and your stakeholders needs to be seamless, and that's where we're looking to get to. So where we say, is there still space for offline or traditional marketing? Yes, very much so, but it needs to be connected and thought about as one thing.
So for companies to determine whether they're successful or not, let's say they get a website, they open up LinkedIn B2B. Do they do Facebook as well, Instagram, or does that depend on the company? And depending on where they go, what sort of KPIs should they be looking at? What sort of metrics should they be managing against each of those channels to build the data they need to allow them to run a successful campaign?
Yeah, that's a good point, and it is a difficult one to where to start, because how I try to look at it is that there are the outcomes that you're looking to drive with a campaign would fall into very different buckets. So you can be looking at, are you trying to drive awareness? Are you trying to get people to engage with your brand? Or are you just trying to get people to buy your stuff? Are you just trying to sell? So I think it's very I think often with analytics and analytics frameworks, we just were very much looking at the bottom bit. So how much have we, how much have we sold? How much revenue has this channel generated? How much revenue has this initiative generated? But I think it's really important for businesses, again, businesses of all sizes, to be able to look at across all the areas of the funnel. So how much are we moving the needle with reputation? How much are we moving the needle with engagement? And how much are we selling from each initiative? And being able to understand what the KPIs are for each area of that funnel is really important. So having a measurement framework for both reputation and awareness of your brand and your products, having a measurement and KPI set for how much people are engaging with your brand and what that engagement looks like, and having your KPI set for how much revenue you're driving from an initiative or a channel or a campaign, and having those metrics decided before you launch a campaign. So what is it we're looking to achieve? And I'd always want to, if you're going to have a campaign that you're launching, really understand, are you trying to drive all areas of the funnel, or are you just trying to drive one of those, and have those measurement KPIs set up beforehand? And I think if you can nail kind of that bit when you're launching a campaign, that's a really good start. But it's never going to be totally fixed either. So it may be that as you launch a campaign or initiative, that you're learning what's working and what's not working, and what's important and what bits aren't important. So where I say it's very important to have set KPIs, but also learning from the data you're getting and being agile on those KPIs if you need to be.
For small and medium-sized enterprises who have a limited amount of cash and time, it sounds from what you're describing that there's a lot of different things to do. Should organizations insource this, or should organizations outsource all this work?
I guess it's what skill sets you have within your business. I think most businesses, when they are starting out, would be relatively strapped for cash. So I guess it's understanding what bits you can internalize, and what training you can provide for your current teams to be able to achieve these goals. Certain things that may be more difficult to achieve, like maybe the complex analytics, you may want to outsource. But I think initially that just when you're starting small, the majority of that you could be doing in-house. I think of people that I know that are just a one-man band and starting out on their own, and there's so much that they can just do by themselves, just by educating themselves, particularly on when you're thinking about social channels or even website builds. It's become so easy these days just to almost kind of drag and drop any campaign that you want to do, or anything you want to build. The tools are there for anyone to use and to be able to educate yourself really easily.
If folks want to find out a little bit more about digital marketing and get into this for the first time, are there particular courses they should study? Are there particular websites they should visit? Are there particular people they should follow so that they can learn some more?
Oh yes, I've got lots of these. So I really like the packaged up kind of packages that you can get. So I think there's a few different ones, so you can structure your own online learning. So e-consultancy is one that comes to mind, and Smart Focus. What courses did I do years back? So I did CIM digital courses, which was very good at the time, which I gave you a good kind of baseline because it's underpinned by the formal kind of marketing theory. So I really liked doing those courses. There are so many free conferences and events and forums and things that you can join as well if you just kind of look around. So there's a lot that you can do where you don't have to invest an awful lot of time to find out the basics. But then if you want to take it up a level, you can join I think e-consultancy and Smart Focus you pay an annual subscription for, and you can very much structure your own and create your own learning curriculum around digital. I think they're both great learning resources.
Any technologies out there at the moment that you would recommend? We're hearing Clubhouse is growing and disappearing and growing again. Where should we be looking at the next great thing, or are the existing tools the place we need to be?
I think the existing tools are definitely the place we need to be. I think, again, it's going back to thinking around where your clients are and where can you have the most impact, and investing in your own MarTech stack, whether it's legacy stack that you're having to invest in, or you're building that MarTech stack from scratch. I think the most important thing at the moment that I think all brands should be focusing on is understanding your client. So having your client data stored in the middle of your MarTech stack and being able to connect that to everything you do. So I guess thinking around creating what is an omni-channel experience. So where you're thinking of a brand should be experience that you are providing a consistent experience across all your different channels. So you can be having conversations or engagements with your clients across all the different touch points, and you know where they are in those touch points, and that experience remains consistent. So I think that's where brands should really be looking and investing and focusing on at the moment, is their own MarTech stack, their own data they have about their clients, and being able to use that data wisely and having that connected across all the different channels.
Should companies build their own data about their own customers or potential customers, or should they, or could they buy in that data? Because I see lots of people offering, lead generation or to target customers or whatever else. Is that the right thing or the wrong thing? It's a hybrid, it's a dangerous thing. Where do you sit on that curve?
Just the term buying in data makes me kind of shudder a little bit. I think that is not the way to build meaningful relationships with anyone, is buying a data. Brands need to grow their data and own their own data and onboard kind of new clients and prospects organically. I have, even when buying data was, a thing and a big thing, it just never really sat very well for me, because I just thought, if you're buying data, that's not a relationship. And I think when you are campaign building and brand building is around building relationships, and that's something that you need to do off your own back through engaging people, getting them to trust your brand and opting in and wanting to have a relationship with you.
Lynzi, I'm thinking about actually targeting customers and putting together a campaign. Is that video? Is that a post? Is that some content? Is that a website? What is a campaign? What do I need to be doing?
That's interesting, Kieran, actually, because this is something I have spent a lot of time discussing recently with my teams at Aon and both the wider business as well. And we actually didn't have this defined internally. We've got a huge marketing team, and when you asked one person what a marketing campaign was, and you asked a second person within the marketing team what a marketing campaign was, you'd probably come up with 400 plus different answers. So we've looked recently to really define what is a campaign, and we really thought this through. And for me, where I've kind of landed is a campaign isn't just a channel. A campaign isn't a piece of content. It's not a white paper. A campaign isn't one thing. A campaign for me starts with the customer. So what are those customers' needs? What channels does that customer engage with? And you start there. And it's not a short-term thing. For me, campaigns need to be thought about for the length of time it takes to a customer to move through a certain process. So whether that's onboarding that customer, supporting the customer through the lifestyle of holding a product with you, and also after they've left you. So thinking about the different stages of the customer life cycle, and campaigns need to be built around that. So for me, a campaign is built up of a number of different tactics, a number of different ideas, and a number of different channels. And when you bring all those three together to create an experience that achieves an objective, that's a very important piece as well. You have to know what you're looking to achieve before you start a campaign. So when you bring together all those channels and you're looking to achieve an objective, for me, that's a campaign.
I like the sound of that. It sounds more complete. I do worry that people think of digital tools as shortcuts, as I mentioned a moment ago, to building these relationships, to listening to their customers, to believe that, I can do everything digitally and not, have great phone or customer service or whatever else. So it's great to see that people are actually putting experience in to what they're actually delivering, be that a brand experience or a service or a sales experience, and really meaning it and really delivering upon it. Lynzi, look, thank you so much for your time today. If people want to find out a little bit more about you and follow the excellent work that you're doing, how would they go about that?
Yeah, I mainly hang out on LinkedIn. Tried Clubhouse, not really into Twitter, got accounts, but LinkedIn is where I can post most and host most of my content. And my URL is just LinkedIn user, I think, and then Lynzi, so Lynzi. So if you search Lynzi on LinkedIn, you should find me.
Fantastic. I'll put a link to your profile in the post when we send this out. Lynzi, look, thank you so much for today. I've learned so much in the last 20, 30 minutes that it's phenomenal. I hope everybody else listening in hasn't enjoyed the interview as much as I have. I wish you every success in the future. Thank you so much indeed for agreeing to be interviewed today.
Thanks, Kieran. It's nice to chat.
All righty. Stay safe. Be good. I'll see you soon.
Stay safe. Bye.